Okay, so last class we learned that if an angle passes through the center of a circle, it's called a central angle. And its degrees equal the arc that's created by its rays. So today we're going to talk about an inscribed circle. So the difference between a central angle and an inscribed angle is where the vertex is. So for a central angle, the vertex is in the center of the circle. Let's see, this might take a second. So central, there's the center of the circle, so this is what we call a central angle. And remember, it is congruent to its arc, okay? And now we're going to talk about an inscribed angle. So 3 high school players are playing kicking goals from 3 points shown on the diagram. The 3 points are along an arc of a circle. That's the key. That now we're going to extend this vertex to the outside of the circle. All right? So you want to see player A says she's in the best position because the angle of her kicks towards the goal is wider than the other players. Do you agree? And so this is what we're going to learn is the relationship between, so player B, if we were to draw his angle, it would look like this, because this is what we call an inscribed angle because it hits the end of the circle. Player A's got an angle that looks like this, and then player C's angle is right here. And so we want to see, do we agree that player A's angle looks the widest? And that's what we're going to learn today. Okay, now if you're looking at this diagram, the inscribed angle is the angle created by the 2 chords, because this is a chord, and this is a second chord, and their vertex, the angle vertex is on the circle, and then we call this the intercepted arc, is the arc created by that angle. So in this case, in this blue diagram here, the intercepted arc would be like right here, that part of the circle. For the red, the intercepted arc is like right here. So they look almost equal. All right, so we're going to think about that as we move forward. So the special relationship is that the measure of angle B is actually equal to half of the arc length. So for example, if I said that this arc length was 60, then the measure of angle B would be 1/2 times 60. And please remember, multiplying by 1/2 is the same as taking 60 divided by 2. So this angle would be 30. And that's it. That's the special relationship. But in order to use this theorem, the inscribed angle theorem, you have to have an inscribed angle. So let's look at these examples 1, 2, 3, and 4. And please remember that the vertex is on the circle. So this is not an inscribed angle because this vertex is not on the outside of the circle. This is what we call a central angle. And remember that this arc length, the angle measure is equivalent to the arc length. Now here, yes, this is considered an inscribed angle because the vertex is on the outside of the circle. And this again is a yes. It doesn't matter whether or not it passes through the center of the circle. What matters is that the vertex is on the outside of the circle. Okay, so here are some 3 cases where you know that this angle here is going to be equivalent to half the arc length. So you could have the center on one side, the center's outside, or the center is inside of the arc length. Okay, so now we have to figure out our values. So we want to figure out what A is. Okay, so this arc right here is A. So the first thing I'm going to do is trace my unknown, and then I'm going to go ahead and trace the chords that make up this arc here. And this right here is a 60-degree angle. And so I know the arc is going to be twice as big. So the arc is 60 times 2, or 120 degrees. Okay, so for angle B, that's right here. And I know I'm looking for an angle, so I'm going to be dividing it by 2. I'm going to trace this here. And the arc that's created by this angle is 30 plus 120. So that's 150 degree. This whole arc right here is 150 degrees because it's this little part 30 plus the 120 here. So I'm going to take 1/2 of 150, which is the same as taking 150 divided by 2. And we know that this angle B is 75 degrees. So let's make sure that we understand this. Let's look here. We want to know what the measure of angle A is. This is interesting. All right. And then in the second situation, we want to know what the measure of angle A, angle B, angle C, and angle D are. So please pause the video, work these out, and come back and see if you got these. You should have noticed that this is a 90-degree angle. All right, now over here, this is going to get a little more complicated. So if we want to find angle A, let's go ahead and trace the lines that create angle A. So we know it's going to be half of 100 plus 90. So it's 190 divided by 2, and that is 95. Okay. For angle B, I'm going to erase my lines. Angle B, I'm going to trace my rays that make up, or the chords that make up. So it's going to be 1/2 of 64 plus 90. So it's 64 plus 90 is 154. So it's 154 divided by 2. So that is 77. And so now you should understand that angle C is 85. Angle C is 85, and angle D is 103. And all of these should add up to 360. Okay, moving forward. Couple other corollaries. So remember, corollaries are kind of like our assumptions you can make based on something else that has occurred. So a couple of the corollaries here is that if you have two inscribed angles that intercept the same arc, they're congruent. So you'll notice that if you trace this here, the intercepted arc is in blue. And if you trace this angle here, the intercepted arc is the same. So the angles will be congruent, obviously, right? An angle inscribed in a semicircle is a right angle. And we saw that here. This is a semicircle, and it's inscribed within it, so it's a 90-degree angle. And then lastly, the opposite angles of a quadrilateral inscribed in a circle are supplementary. So that means that angle D and angle B are supplementary. Angle A and angle C are also supplementary. All right, so let's look at what we got here. So we want to know the measure of angle 1. So the arc created in angle 1 is from here to here. Okay, so it's inscribed in a semicircle, right? Because this is the 90-degree angle, this is crossing it. So therefore, this angle right here is a 90-degree angle. I also knew that because I didn't have enough information to figure out you could figure out the big arc length as well. And you would see that the big arc here, this is 40, this whole thing makes 180, and half of 180 is 90, which is why that occurs. All right, the second one, we want to know the measure of angle 2. Well, look here. The measure of angle 2 is here. And we know that the measure here, so you can see that they both share the same arc. So if this one's 38, this is also 38. Okay, so we want to know what is the measure of each numbered angle. Please pause the video at this time, work it out, and then come back and see if you got it. Please remember the corollary about quadrilaterals. So down here you should notice that this is a semicircle. So that means the measure of angle 1 is going to equal 90 degrees. And I see that if this is 90 degrees, these are supplementary. So that means the measure of angle 3 is also 90, because if you add them together, you get 180. And supplementary means 180. Okay, so then I'm going to find the measure of angle 4 next, because I know the measure of angle 4 is 1/2 60 plus 80. Well, 60 plus 80 is 140. So this is 140 divided by 2, which is 70. So the measure of angle 4 is 70. Now I know the measure of angle 2 is supplementary to the measure of angle 4. So it's going to equal 180 minus 70, which is 110 degrees. Dang, this is fun. All right, let's move forward. All right, so what is the relationship between the angle formed by a tangent and a chord? Well, it's essentially the same. It's 1/2 the arc. So anytime you have a tangent or a inscribed angle, the measure of the angle is always 1/2 the arc. So remember that you can also take the arc and multiply the angle and multiply it by 2 to get the arc. So if you need to read through this, go ahead. So let's go ahead and check to make sure that we know what we're talking about. It says, pause the video, work these out, come back and see. So we found that the angle of question was 57 degrees for the first example. And the second example, that arc that they were asking for is 272 degrees. And I showed you 2 ways to arrive at that answer. Okay, you have some example problems. So once again, the key is to outline what you're looking for. So if we're looking for the measure of angle Z, we know that the angle is 1/2 the arc. So you're just going to take 102 and divide by 2. And that should give you 51. All right, and then here again, you're going to take 1/2. Now, this one is a little bit tricky. For this one here, you have to first figure out this entire arc here is going to be 108 times 2, which is 216. So then, to find this arc here, it's whatever is not. So this would be 360 minus 216. Or you could see that they're supplementary. Okay, so this is 5, 10, that's 4, 4, 144. Okay, let's move forward. Here we got number 10. Just trying to find number 10. Here it is. So for this problem, I purposely made a common mistake in the packet. So raise your hand and let me know if you can find the error. But this is the problem solved correctly. So the measure of angle L should be 62 degrees. Again, pause it if you need to look at it more carefully. And these examples are all done on your paper. I just wanted you to see them drawn in different colors. There you go, x equals 2 and 12. And then here, these you have fill in the blank. And you have to determine, because you're going around the whole circle, it's going to add up to 360. So it's part plus part plus part equals 360. So if you're having struggles working these out, just let me know, and we can come around and help you. And here are the answers to lesson 41. You are responsible for all 28 problems before you move on.